I think it's important to remind that we are part of a bigger underlying trend. Like we are part of the overall digitalization of the industry. So the need for 3D modeling, the reality capture. So this is what we are in, and it's growing. It's growing fast. Of course, we are not addressing all the applications, all the markets, but we are in this global trend. So we focus on what we are good at, meaning designing professional tools, targeting industries. Of course, we're in drones. So for us is aerial digitalization. So we have decided to focus on becoming a leader in drone surveying. So meaning that we develop the tools for our customer to duplicate their natural and built environment. So that's the first step, providing the tools to do that. Here you have an example of a bridge, mapped with a 3000 LR in Canada. This is a typical example. You need a drone to do something like that. And after you have your model, the goal is to add more value to your data, add intelligence, so extract the maximum, the best of your data. And the goal is to be more and more efficient and safer in the process. So that's what we do. Let's look at the history. I think the start of everything we did was the invention of the modern quadcopter. Do you know when it has been invented? No clue? So you are still sleeping, already sleeping? So I'll help you then. It's in 2001. It's Udo Duers, one of the founder of Microdrones, that invented the first quadcopter. And it was really the beginning of the whole industry. The concept of the quadcopter has been invented in Siegen in Germany, where we still have our main office in Germany. So he co-founded Microdrones in 2005 with Daniel Schubeler and Jan Wendel, and the goal was to design the best quadcopter in the world. In the meantime, I was working in drones, but for military applications. And what I've learned from there is that a drone is a remote sensor. So what matters is the data that you can get from it. So when I decided to find my own company, I was seeing the regulation, the commercial market to start in Europe, and I decided to open it in the US. Co-founded with Frank Darmaillan and François Gerner. The goal was to be in North America because you couldn't fly drones there. And I wanted to be there before the market opens. The goal for me was to start providing services, understanding what kind of deliverable was needed, where the value was. So I started by providing services in Canada, where I could fly. And over time, I started to develop payloads and software to process the data. So it was the early days, but I think what we really started to our goal, becoming the leader in drone surveying, it was in 2016. You don't have a perfect drone to do all the application, but I really think you can have the best tool for a specific application. So we wanted to be focused and be the best at that. So we decided to focus on land surveying based on drones. So this is in 2016, and actually is when we started to work with some of you guys already. We worked with Trimble and started to work with a couple of dealers at that time. So I was doing payloads and software in Canada, and Microdrones was designing the flying platform, the drones, so we decided to merge to have the complete package. So this happened in 2016. In 2017, we released our first LiDAR payload. I think that was also the beginning on what we are building today. Seeing that the LiDAR technology will be the future of this industry. In 2018, we have acquired Schubeler Technology. Daniel Schubeler was one of the founders of Microdrones. He was designing the motors, the airframe, the carbon parts of our drones. So I wanted to bring together this expertise, because at the end of the day, it's a question of technology and people. So over time, we tried to build that team together. The missing piece was released in 2020. It was our post-processing platform called MD Infinity. So we had the software to prepare the mission, meaning that knowing what you want at the end, the kind of resolution, the kind of accuracy, how it translates in terms of flight parameters to make sure that you will get the right results at the end. We had the drone, we had the payload, the sensors, but we were missing the post-processing piece. The growth of the drone business has been built on, the fact that LiDAR sensors are cheaper, lighter. And that's the fact that they are investing a lot for the autonomous driving industry. But the drawback of that, they are cheaper, lighter, but also noisier, less accurate. So we need to add post-processing steps at the end to get at the right level of accuracy. I will say closer to the man aviation world. Without that, you don't get the right results. In part of that, GeoCue was also developing in this business. GeoCue has been founded in 2003 in Alabama by Lewis Graham and targeting also the surveying world in North America. In 2019, they have acquired a really interesting piece, the LP360 software, post-processing software, which is a GIS reference in the market, and they continue to invest in there. In 2019, they released their first payload under the brand TrueView. So based, like us, on LiDAR sensor, camera, and Applanix IMUs. And in 2021, we have acquired GeoCue. So again, bringing together the team, the technology, and becoming stronger in North America. And it took us a couple of months to make sure that we have a coherent offering and having all the team working together. So we are at the time that now we can start releasing products that works for all this. We will go now to the market with 4 brands. That's the brand that we want to push, the product line that we want to push, the one that we want to invest in. LP360, the software to process your data, so point cloud and imagery data. TrueView, which is the brand for the payloads, again, LiDAR and imaging. Microdrones, the one that you know the most, I guess, so the all-in-one solution, having the software, the payload, and the drone. And the last one, this is Schubeler Technology. When we have acquired the company, so they were developing ducted fans, electric propulsions for drones, but all other applications, and we decided to continue that, making sure that we stay up to date on those technology. So I will go through each one of them. So LP360, this is key. If you have to remember one thing during this 2 days, that's the product. We want LP360 to become the post-processing software for everything we do. So I think it's a huge step forward compared to MD Infinity. So you still have the easy workflow to make it simple for the user to process the later data. But on top of that, you have tools to exploit better the data. A good example is this viewer with different views being interactive. It's one of them. I think it's also a big step forward in terms of production of the deliveries. Volumetric, classification, one-foot contour maps, and so on. So you will get tomorrow morning a demonstration of this software. And also, you can process any point cloud, any LAS. So potentially, we are opening our addressable market with this. We can process L1 data, for example. And I said we focus on drone surveying. This is what we do. This is what we are good at. But potentially, we could imagine to go further into mobile mapping or SLAM tomorrow. So we have the foundation to do something like that. So TrueView, so that's the high-end payload in North America. They have a complete range, starting from the 435 based on the SI sensor up to the Regal sensor. And it's made to be installed on almost any drones. So mainly third-party drones. So you have a drone, you're looking for a LiDAR, that's the right product to go to. Or you have a DJI L1, M300, you want an upgrade, you can go for the TrueView. And we don't sell the hardware only. This is with also a license of LP360 to process your data. So Microdrones, I won't get into too much detail because I think you know most of it. But the whole concept of Microdrones is really the all-in-one solution. When you are looking at building your drone program in your organization, that's the right tool because you will be supported all the way. From the mission preparation to the data collection, how to use the drone, how to configure the sensor, and how you process the data to make sure that you have the right result at the end. And the goal is to have TrueView payload integrated with Microdrones, and again, using LP360 for the new payloads. And the last one is Schubert technology. So they do propulsion system, electric propulsion system. I took two examples to show what they do. Of course, they provide propulsion system for drones, but we are also in air taxi. So this one is an example of the latest one from Volocopter. It's the VoloConnect, and we are developing the fans here and the 6 lift rotors on the VoloConnect. So another example is with a customer called Vita Inclinata. We provide the stabilization system for external load under helicopter or cranes. So they are using our fan to do that. But to come back a little bit closer to what you do, I don't think you will sell Schubert technology tomorrow. Although if you're interested, we can discuss. But I think to be closer to what you do. So we try to master the whole workflow. So starting from the mission preparation to the data collection, then building the 3D model, adding value to it, trying to add intelligence, and we are focusing on land surveying, but we want to add specific feature for specific verticals over time. So a good example, for example, for forestry is to add tree count, measurement of the size of the trunk. For the power line company, do vegetation encroachment. So this kind of adding to the data, how to use it and bring intelligence into it. And again, so after the tool to exploit the data, and you start again. And so what we have on the data collection piece, you have TrueView with third-party drone, or you have Microdrones. And on the data piece, you have LP360. Okay, so this was the product. So about the organization. So right now we are about 170 people. In terms of efficiency, we wanted to have co-located the R&D and the production of the same product in the same location. So we decided to have everything related to the drone co-located in Germany, and everything related to the payload in Huntsville in Alabama. So that's the two key R&D center, one for payloads, the other one for drones. You have two other locations. So Siegen, that's the big one that we have for the drone in Germany. Huntsville for the payloads is the service center for North America. We have Paderborn, so this is the superior technology office where we do the fan, but also produce the carbon parts for our drones. And we still have the R&D center in Toulouse, France, where we have our mathematicians developing the algorithm of our software. So they were developing modules for MD Infinity, but now we are working on integrating them into LP360. So we try to have a more efficient footprint that represent more where our focus are. And I will end this presentation with a selection of our end users because I think we can be. It's a prestigious list, and you have been part of it. Thanks to you, you have been part of signing some of those end users. But I wanted to show the diversity and the type of customers that we have. So we have the governmental entities related to GIS with USDA, USGS, US Army Corps, for example. We have been also successful with the DOTs. So we have assigned a couple of states, and it's working well with them. Of course, we work with the big civil engineering firms in North America, but also abroad. For example, this is a customer in Japan. And then we have the smaller engineering firms and the land surveying firms. So I'm pretty sure you might recognize some names here. And then we have the bigger organization that wants to have an internal drone program. So for example, some mining companies, some seed producers, they want really accurate data, or some construction companies. And on the right, those are the typical customer for Schubiler technology, so the aerospace players mainly. So that's it for the introduction of the business. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask.